Hey guys, today we're going to be going over how to convert between fractions, decimals, and percentages. Now you're going to need this for your Australian Year 7 maths curriculum, and if you're able to do what I show you today, you'll be able to get an A. So in this video, we're going to go over what we know about each of our fraction, decimal, and percentages. Then we're going to go over how to convert them, and we're going to go over how to convert from fraction to decimal, decimal to percentage, and then percentage to fraction. So we can go all the way around the circle and get to anyone from anyone, okay? Third, we're gonna go over it all again, just a little bit to make sure we understand everything. So what we know about fractions, decimals, and percentages, they all mean the same thing. There's no difference between them except for the language we're speaking here, okay? They're like all different kinds of languages that say the same thing. So these all just mean half, but they're different ways of showing it. Now I use all of these every day. They're super important and you see them everywhere without even realizing it. Like when you're eating a pizza, you can have half of a pizza or 0.5 of a pizza. No one calls it 0.5 of a pizza, or 50% of a pizza. Or if you're talking about money, 0.5 can be 50 cents, so 0.5 of a dollar. You don't really say half a dollar, do you? Or 50% of a dollar, but they mean the same thing. You could say half a dollar. You could say 50% of a dollar and it would just mean 50 cents. Now, this is going to be a bit of a longer video, so I've got this here in the corner. This is going to show which leg we're on of the video. So first we're going to go over fractions to decimals. Now we're not going to go back the other way because that's going to be a whole lot more difficult. Now a good way to go from fractions to decimals is just to memorize it. I'm going to leave down here in the corner a chart that'll show you how to convert them. And if you memorize a bunch of these, you see them every day, and now you'll be able to do them just by memory if you look at this chart a lot, okay? Look out for them in life. But to go from a fraction to a decimal, all we do is divide, because remember, 7 on 8, it's like saying 7 divided by 8. So we're just gonna put these in our calculator, to be honest, because unless they're on this chart down here, you can't really do them in your head, okay? When you reach those later year levels, you'll do something called long division. It's pretty hard. It sounds scary. Other people will tell you it's scary. It's simple. I'll make a video on it later if you want to watch that. 7 divided 8, we chuck that in our calculator. We're going to get 0.875 or 7/8. Let's try another one. Let's do 5 over 6. And that equals 5 divided by 6, 0.83333, and those threes go forever. Now, numbers like this are much better represented using fractions, okay? But here we want to represent it as a decimal. That's what I've asked you to do. But there's a much nicer way of doing this than writing an infinite amount of threes, because trust me, that goes forever. I can just write threes all day and I'll never get to the answer. And what we do in math is we only write one of these threes, but what we're going to do, we're going to put a dot on top of the 3. And what this tells us is that that 3 goes forever. And now that doesn't make this number infinitely big because it's still equal to 5 over 6. It's just a way of representing a repeating number for infinity. So we'll just leave a dot over it. And that's all there is to it. You can just chuck this in your calculator if you want to, but this chart down here, those are the really good ones to remember, okay? Try that. It'll be great for you if you can do that. Okay guys, now that we've gone over the fractions to decimals leg of the video, we're gonna go from decimals to percentages now, and it's a whole lot easier. So let's try it. Now seriously, it's so easy. All you're gonna have to do is multiply by 100. Remember that, multiply by 100. Let's try a few of them. 0.6. Now what is that as a percentage? Multiply it by 100. It is 60%, right? Multiplied by 100. Let's try 0.78. Now what's that as a percentage? Multiply it by 100. 78%. Now let's try a bit of a trickier one. Let's do 0.993. Okay, now what's this as a percentage? Times by 100, we're going to get 99.33 because this 3 doesn't quite make it over the decimal. It's going to stay behind. We leave the decimal in. We're going to do one more, a little bit of a tricky one, 17.4. Now what is this as a percentage? It's going to be 1,740%, okay? That just means percentages can be greater than 100%. It just means we have more than 100%. Something is overflowed, overfilled. If you have 2 pizzas, that's 200%. If you have 2.5 pizzas, 250%, okay? Now we're on our last leg, percentage to fraction, okay? So for this one, we're going to divide by 100. So say we have 60% again, we'll write that here. Now, converting this to a fraction, all we're going to do is divide 60 by 100. Now, there is one further step because we can't just leave it like this. We have to simplify, okay? So, to simplify, we find a common factor, something that they can both divide by. Now, for this one, it's going to be really easy. They're clearly both divisible by 10. So let's try dividing it by 10. Both the numerator and the denominator, numerator meaning the top, denominator meaning the bottom. So 60 divided by 10 is 6. 100 divided by 10 is 10. Now we get 6 over 10. We can simplify further. You know why? They're both even. We're going to divide by 2. And we get equals 3 over 5. And now those are both prime numbers, so we can't go any further with simplifying. Let's try one more. 78%. Okay, so what do? We divide by 100, okay? So 78 over 100. Okay, now we're going to try simplify. Can you think of any common factors? There's a pretty clear one, and it's 2 because they're both even numbers. So let's divide 78 by 2, and we get 39. Divide 100 by 2 and we get 50. Now, I really can't think of any common factors. I wouldn't expect you to. Maybe there is, but let's move on. Okay, so now we've done each leg of our cycle. Let's see if we can go through it with a quick recap. Let's go over it again, okay? So let's say someone named Mark has a pizza. He has a quarter of a pizza left. Let's see if we can convert that to a decimal, then to a percentage of a pizza, and back to a fraction of a pizza. Let's go through it. So, quarter of a pizza, there's 4 parts. He has one of them left. He has 1 over 4. Okay, now let's go to a decimal. Now remember, how do we go to a decimal? Well, we can remember it from our table down here, or we can put it into our calculator as 1, the numerator, divided by 4, the denominator. So, equals 1 divided by 4, which is equal to 0.25. Now that's one that you see every day. Great to remember this one, okay? Now, how do we go next to a percentage from a decimal? Remember, times by 100. So 0.25 times 100, we're going to move the decimal back like this, and we'll get 25%. Okay, now our last leg, 50% to a fraction. Okay, remember how you do this? You don't times by 100 here, you divide by 100. So we're going to do 25 over 100. Now that's not quite what we had at the start. So what can we do here? We can find a common factor and divide both the top and the bottom. Now when you divide both the top and the bottom, you're not actually affecting the value. Okay, so what could be a common factor here? Well, I think 25 would be a pretty good factor. Let's try that. 25. Now we know there's 1, 25, and 25. So 1 over, how many times does 25 go into 100? 4 times. So 1 over 4. And there you have it. That's how you go from fractions, decimals, percentages, back to fractions. Okay, and even if you need to go from fractions to percentages, you just follow around. So you'd go fraction to decimal to percentage. You can just go around the loop, okay? So thanks for watching this video today, guys. If you learned anything, please leave a like. If you need more content or want to learn something else, leave a comment and I'll make a video about it. Otherwise, I am a tutor, so you can reach out to me through my profile and ask for some tutoring. Thanks for watching. Bye.